extremely destructive, larger than a baseball. So we're talking about extremely strong winds across the area. We are talking about not just straight line winds, but also the rotating winds within the actual tornado warning itself. I'm not getting any word of a confirmed tornado on the ground, so that is certainly going to be good. But you know what? We're still getting reports right now. 2-inch diameter hail reported at the Midland Park Mall. So that is certainly not good. That's going to damage significant property. That's going to damage yourself too. We can always replace property. We cannot replace people. So make sure that you guys, if you are indoors, stay indoors. Do not go near the windows. Don't go try to take pictures. That's why we have the professionals out there doing a lot of this. We want to make sure that you guys are staying safe. That's why I'm inside. I'm not a professional. I'm not going out there and trying to take pictures. That's why we got a network of cameras here as well. We're actually seeing a little bit more of a definitive kind of hook echo. Now, the hook echo, that's going to be kind of what looks like a little bit like this. We're starting to see a lot more of that activity. And you know what? We're still going to continue to watch a lot of this region because we're seeing very strong winds beginning to pick up. Let's actually go ahead and jump over to our Midland sky camera, seeing if we can actually see anything going on here. Yeah, that is actually right on top of our station. The camera is beginning to shake wildly right now, so that is certainly not going to be very good. You're talking about not just rotating winds, but extremely strong straight line winds across the area. Looks like we actually have visual on a potential tornado south of the National Weather Service office in the vicinity of Interstate 20. Confirmed tornado on the ground. So this is a confirmed on the ground tornado near the National Weather Service building, which means it's actually awfully close to our building right now. So I'm going to actually move around this camera, making sure that if we need to take cover, we are going to take cover because we're seeing a lot of activity. It's starting to mess around with our sky camera and moving everything around too. And of course, with heavy rain, large-sized hail, we're unable to actually really see a whole lot. And the fact that I'm struggling to actually move this camera is obviously not a good kind of situation. Still struggling to see. It looks like very just dark clouds. I can't really tell if that is actually going to be a tornado. It's extremely hard to tell with what we have right now. And of course, we're actually getting when you get rain this strong, you get hail this big too. You just can't really see much of anything. Just looks like a lot of very heavy rain, large-sized hail falling down. Again, our own cameras are even just struggling to stay in place right now. Looking all around the area, we're talking again extremely destructive hail, just getting a lot of rain wrapping around. Let's go back. Still getting a couple little what looks like power flashes as well. It's extremely hard to see anything going on here. So let's jump back to that radar and see what we got going on, because there's still going to be looks like large hail. They're reporting large hail right now at the National Weather Service office. We're actually getting word from the American Red Cross that they've spotted a funnel at the airport right now from one of the volunteers with the Red Cross. Again, we're talking about a very dangerous situation. I'm starting to hear a lot of that very large hail on top of our building right now. We're also talking about significant heavy rainfall. Yeah, our camera is shaking like crazy right now. Large hail falling at the airport. We're getting the large wind gusts as well. And it seems like, yeah, certainly not the best kind of situation either. Let me go ahead and double check here. Let's go ahead and just pop up that radar real quick, because we might want to go and take cover within our building itself, because let's see, we're getting actually the storm has rotation. Aurora Murray, our meteorologist, says that she has actually seen the funnel and it is rain wrapped. We can't see it right now because we're getting that rain wrapped type of situation. I suggest we probably take cover. We're gonna go ahead and make sure everything is okay out there. I'm not seeing, that's the problem. We're getting that sky camera, it's shaking, it's going all over the place. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground, guys. This is going to be not the best kind of situation that we're dealing with. We're going to stick with you here. Confirmed tornado on the ground, large hail falling associated with this entire system. Whew. This is as real as it gets, guys. 3-inch sized hail associated with the storm around the area. We can't really see anything from this camera, or really any of our cameras. It's going to be a rain-wrapped storm, so we're just not seeing anything being reported from it. Luckily, right now, we haven't lost any power here. We're going to continue to keep that radar up as long as it takes, as long as it can. Latest observer from Interstate 20, half a mile west of Interstate 20 and Loop 250. Observe high rotation that is going to be from people from the Red Cross. Spotters confirm the tornado. National Weather Service employees saying they are seeing it. Yeah, we're talking about a very dangerous situation here, guys. We'll let you know if I gotta go and take cover. We'll let you know. We're getting all kinds of lightning, extremely heavy rain across the area. We're just kind of in this little dead space where the radar can't really see any significant rotation. So what we're seeing right now with the rotation itself, very hard to see. Again, it's going to be a lot of that red and that green. Red and green means rotation. Seeing a lot of craziness right now across the area. All right, take a deep breath. We're okay. It's very strong winds right now. Rotation is right on top of the National Weather Service radar.
Want to come in here? We can bring you here.
Yeah. We're keeping an eye on the situation right now. We haven't lost power yet. We got a very strong rotation right now across the area too. Sorry, I'm breathing heavily, guys. It's getting extremely strong outside right now. I can hear it. I can hear everything shaking. I can hear the roof getting banged up with all the hail. Again, if you're just joining us, confirmed tornado on the ground right near Loop 250 and right near Interstate 20. Our station is actually quite close to the National Weather Service. They have confirmed, multiple employees from the National Weather Service have confirmed tornado activity. We're also seeing our own Skycam is just rotating like crazy. I'm not actually able to get anything from that Skycam in particular. Let me go ahead and actually see if I can switch it over to one of our better cameras. That's going to be the Odessa camera, where we're seeing a lot more of that activity. Hold on, we're going to switch that over. It's a rain-wrapped tornado, which means you just won't be able to see anything. It means you want to make sure, if you aren't in your safe space, that it is gone, that you're staying in your safe space right now. We got that tornado confirmed on the ground. Damaging tornado, weather spotters have confirmed you are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be destroyed. Considerable damage to homes and businesses are going to be possible. Vehicle is likely and complete destruction is possible. That tornado is going to be right on top of us within about a minute or so. We're getting all kinds of alerts on our phones right now. Yeah, we are going to make sure that that tornado warning is staying, of course, on top. Make sure you guys are taking cover right now. This is not anything to be taken lightly whatsoever. We got that confirmed. Tornado on the ground, moving right through Midland, moving right through Odessa, right in between, right along the airport. Not seeing a whole lot of activity. Latest radar loop, not showing a lot of promising information. Extremely strong rotation, of course, across the area. Still seeing our Skycams just shaking like crazy. Extremely strong wind gusts. Let me see what I can get in terms of actual wind gusts themselves. We are getting, let's see, radar itself picking up velocity about 60 miles an hour. That's decently strong. Let's see, a little bit closer toward the radar itself. even just within the station here. 74 mile per hour wind gusts. Yeah, 74 mile per hour wind gusts. 73 within the radar itself. Near where that tornado looks to be. Just still not getting the best kind of readings across the area. We're going to keep that up there, of course, as we continue the situation. We have got multiple reports of tornadoes on the ground right now. I'm hearing a whole lot of banging outside right now. You want to make sure you are in your safe space. Hearing that wind just kind of circling around outside. Confirmed, tornado on the ground. Get to your safe space. This is not a drill. We are seeing golf ball on the small side for hail, up to over baseball-sized hail. That's the banging that we're beginning to hear outside right now. Our own sky cameras are starting to go down because of how strong these winds are, because of how much torrential downpour is going on, and how big some of this hail is. It could easily hurt, if not kill you. Make sure you are indoors, you are protected, you are away from windows. This is not a situation you want to take lightly whatsoever. Take a look at our Odessa sky camera. Eyes in the sky, it's rain wrapped. This tornado's rain wrapped, we can't see it. Our own cameras, even here locally, we're actually having trouble even pulling up our own sky cams. That's not a good sign whatsoever. Let's check in from the latest from the National Weather Service. Vehicle windows being broken across the area. Large hail falling across the Midland office. Getting reports of multiple, looks like actually someone is trying to send in a picture from the American Red Cross of the tornado on the tarmac at the Midland International Airport. Yes, that is a confirmed tornado on the ground. Midland International Airport, confirmed tornado on the ground at the Midland Airport. We are getting extremely strong, large-sized hail across the region. This is going to cause significant damage to vehicles, to multiple people, to pets. Make sure that you are indoors. I'm hearing, you guys can probably hear it as well, multiple extremely large-sized hail beginning to fall down across the area. Still, a lot of rotation, a lot of strong straight-line winds. Not going to be the best kind of situation. Let's go ahead and jump right back to that radar. See if we can get something a little bit closer going on here. Yeah, we are looking at an extremely dangerous kind of situation. The rest of the area looks to be on the clear side for now. Sanderson, you guys got that severe thunderstorm warning. Fort Stockton has that severe thunderstorm warning. Midland, Odessa, you got the severe thunderstorm warning. You got the tornado on the ground. This has been confirmed. We got the extremely large hail across the area. Want to make sure you guys are staying protected. Extremely large hail. It's south. It says they had visual of the tornado from the National Weather Service office near I-20. It seems like the tornado itself might be crossing the interstate right now. Seems like the tornado might be crossing the interstate. So we're going to go ahead and pull up another one of our cameras to see what I can get for you guys as the situation continues to play out across the region. We're actually going to go ahead and jump right over to that Bank of America tower that's going to be overlooking Midland downtown. I'm going to move it looking toward the south, see if we can get any kind of visual or confirmation, getting a number of flashes, power flashes. I guarantee a lot of people are going to lose power. You got a lot of lightning as well. Not seeing anything. This is actually looking toward Interstate 20 and Business Loop 20. Still hard to really see anything out here, guys. That's how strong this is across the area. That's why we got these. That's why we do what we do. Here to keep you safe. Tornado warning. Going to be in effect until at least 6 o'clock right now. That is going to be moving. It looks to be to the south of Interstate 20. We're talking at least 3-inch sized hail within some of these storms. You can hear all the hail outside. I'm sure you guys can hear that. Destructive storm for Midland International Airport. 3-inch sized hail It looks like 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. You will get blown away when you have 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts on top of over 3-inch in diameter hail. That's bigger than a baseball. That's when you're getting significant destructive damage across the area. Trained weather spotters have seen this tornado. People and animals outdoors will be severely injured. Expect shattered windows, extensive damage to roofs, sidings, and vehicles. Locations right now: Midland, Greenwood, Midland International Air and Spaceport, Cotton Flat, Warfield, Midland Air Park, and the SkyWest Airport. This includes the interstates between mile markers, Interstate 20 between mile markers 127 and 147. This is just for that severe thunderstorm too. We got not just the tornado, we got the hail, we got the wind. You got a little bit of everything with the storm. Mother Nature is certainly not taking it easy on us today. That's for certain. Tornadic thunderstorm. It's heading toward a little bit more rural areas of Ector and Midland County. That's a good sign, but we still have a lot of people. That's our main population center, Ector and Midland County. That's why we got that confirmed tornado on the ground. A large, extremely dangerous, and potentially deadly tornado is on the ground. To protect your life, take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. Hail this size with wind gusts as strong as we're seeing will easily break through those windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from that flying debris. We got that tornado observed. It actually looks like right now they've upgraded the hail size, guys. 4-inch in diameter hail. 4-inch in diameter right now. How big is that, you ask? Great question. We're looking at 4 inches in diameter. That's going to be at least the size of a grapefruit, maybe, if not a little bit smaller than that. Yeah, we're looking softball-sized hail being reported within this storm. This is an exceptionally rare, extremely severe storm right now as we move across the area. Yeah, we're getting actually multiple people sending in videos of at least baseball to softball sized hail within this storm. This is going to be extremely dangerous. Here's where you go to protect yourself. We're getting a lot of banging on our roof over here. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Here's where you need to go. Anywhere where it's green, that's where it's gonna be safe. Center part of your house. Go away from the windows. Cover your head with a helmet, blanket, pillows, mattress, you name it. You wanna get away from the middle. You wanna get away from the windows. You wanna head toward the middle. Even protect yourself, something as simple as a helmet, motorcycle helmet, you name it. That's gonna be the safest spot. I understand we're not gonna be a huge fan of our own vehicles and property being destroyed, but it's better than you. That's better than you. We're getting extremely loud banging outside, likely from all the hail falling down across the area. Let's go back to that velocity. See, as the tornado begins to move farther and farther away from the radar, that's where we can get a little bit better confirmation of where it is. Here's where it looks to be. That's going to be this area right here, where we're seeing a lot of that bright red, bright green together. That's where we're getting that confirmed rotation. So, how strong are those winds? Granted, while the National Weather Service does not rate the tornadoes anymore based off of wind speed, that was with the old Fujita scale, or like the F0 through F5. We now use the enhanced Fujita scale that is going to be based off of tornado damage. So here's what we got in terms of potential wind speed within these storms. 50, 51 miles an hour, okay. That's a little bit better. Looks like near South County Road, 1312. 94 mile per hour winds. That's not good. 75 mile an hour winds around that area too. We're looking at extremely strong straight line winds within some of these storms. Let's look at 1788. See what they're getting in terms of wind speeds. Very strong, very fast, potentially damaging. Actually, it looks like 1788. Not seeing anything super crazy right now. That's a good sign. How about 73 miles an hour? All right. Here's what we got. Latest update. If you guys are just joining us right now, we have a confirmed tornado on the ground that's going to be just now south of Interstate 20 in between Midland and Odessa. It is an extremely strong, extremely destructive tornado. Notice that little hook echo. That's going to be very definitive of a tornado. We are getting reports of up to potentially softball-sized hail. That is going to be extremely destructive. It will likely damage your roof, your car, you name it. That's why we want to make sure you're staying inside. You're staying indoors as well. Tornado warning is in effect until 6 o'clock. We're going to stay with you here. I'm here. We haven't lost power yet. Tornado has avoided the news station, so that is good news. We actually had multiple people confirming that they took pictures from the airport of that tornado on the ground. And it's rain wrap. That's the biggest problem with a lot of this. We're starting to see a lot more activity around the airport. Still getting extremely large-sized hail right now, moving across the area. Still very strong wind gusts as well. Let's check in on those other storms. I've been kind of ignoring them a little bit, but we have more than one severe storm right now. We got this other severe thunderstorm near Sanderson. We were getting reports of up to potentially 2 inch in diameter hail. Biggest concern right now is going to be this severe thunderstorm right over top of Midland. And of course, the tornado warning that has now moved south of Interstate 20. It looks to be heading toward 349, still part of Midland County, getting a whole lot of activity moving across the area. And you know what? We're getting a lot of humidity. A lot of people are losing power. I'm getting messages. Multiple people losing the internet as well. When you have wind and hail like this, that's where we're getting the most kind of activity, of course, across the area. Give me just one moment. I need to take a drink of water. It is certainly getting quite crazy out there. All right. Let's see if I get any new reports in from the National Weather Service. Looks like tornado is wrapping up on radar southeast of the actual radar. So they're saying if you are in southern Midland County, make sure you are taking shelter right now. A large-sized hail on Midland 191 and Loop 250 near the HEB. Yeah, this is from EMS reports right now. You're getting a whole lot of activity going on, especially as the evening continues. Granted, we've not gotten a break with severe weather as of late, and I don't think we're going to get a break from severe weather anytime soon. Here's a look right now of Midland from the actual Bank of America Tower, looking out a little bit toward Ector County. Looking out toward Ector County, we're also looking a little bit toward the interstate and toward Business Loop 20. That's going to be that main road that you see on there. You guys can't see anything, and that's the unfortunate part and why this situation is so dangerous, because we can't see anything like this right now. We can't see where that tornado is other than just from what the radar is saying. We also can't see just how strong and destructive these winds are. We're getting multiple reports of large-sized hail falling across the majority of the region. Let me go ahead and switch one of our cameras, see if we can see anything. Maybe even our tower camera. or the Odessa camera. It looks like I don't have control over some of these cameras right now. You know what, that's all right. We're still getting just a whole lot of activity. So it seems like, yeah, would not surprise me if these winds and the hail have kind of broken up our radar a little bit. Or not our radar, but the actual sky camera. So here's what I got for you right now. A lot of rain, a lot of hail as well being associated with this. Here's what we got. We have, I think tornado warning was updated within the last 10 minutes. Latest from the actual tornado itself, we are getting softball-sized hail. The tornado and the severe thunderstorm updated within just less than 5 minutes. Softball-sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. These are all by trained storm spotters. Do not go outside right now until this storm has passed. It looks to be right now kind of just sitting right over top of us, and that's the worst part. That's where we're going to get the most amount of damage. We're going to get the most amount of rain, localized flooding, you name it. We got the trained weather spotters out there looking at all this. That's where we want them to do their job. Do not do the job for them. These people are professionals. They have the equipment to deal with that. All right, here's what we got. Locations impacted are going to include Midland. We got Greenwood. We got the Midland International Air and Spaceport. We got Cotton Flat. We got Warfield. We got the Midland Air Park. And we got the SkyWest Airport. It also includes Interstate 20, mile markers 127 to 147. Yeah, this is extremely dangerous, extremely serious. You know what? We're still continuing to watch a lot of what's going on here. And it's just very hard to see anything. That's the worst part. Tornado watch is still going to stay in effect. So if you are clear of the area where that tornado is, talking northern Midland County, northern Ector County, you're probably clear from the tornado warning. But here's the thing. Some of these storms are still likely going to spawn up with more tornadoes as we head into this afternoon and this evening. We got that tornado watch in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. That is still more than 5 hours from now. That's where we're seeing a lot of this activity going to be heavily localized to. Is going to be actually even, originally the models were showing a lot of this stuff moving out toward Big Spring. Big Spring, you guys look to be on the safe side right now more than anything else. Of course, if any of that changes, I'll certainly let you know. Right now, that's where we're seeing the majority of activities kind of beginning to branch off a little bit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to jump over to see where a lot of this cloud cover is, because we've seen a lot of activity as of late, especially with a lot of this cloud cover. That's where we're seeing just that one storm has expanded to that size, covering clouds all the way from Andrews a little bit out toward Winters. That is certainly something. You can just see how strong some of these storms are based on how high some of those clouds tend to go up. We're seeing a lot of activity around Sanderson, around Ira Ann. You guys are catching a break today. That's certainly good. We've seen the majority of that activity out there. Still got that tornado warning confirmed on the ground. Here's the latest from what we're getting on the velocity. That's going to be quite strong. The darker the green, the darker the red, stronger those winds are. I'm starting to hear, sounds like some whistling outside too. Very strong winds here, even at the station. Not going to be the best kind of situation with a lot of this. We got that tornado warning still in effect. If I keep looking down, I need to keep adjusting the radar, so I apologize about that. All right, let's see what we got in terms of wind speeds with a lot of this. Starting to get a little discrepancies on the actual radar. It's not been able to pick up a ton of information as this continues scans over the region. We're still looking at wind gusts easily surpassing 60 to 70 miles per hour. Getting a lot of that howling wind outside. It does not sound very pleasant. Still wind gusts 75 miles an hour. Radar over here still picking about 74 miles an hour. Just a lot of activity in general moving across the area. Still continuing to see just a whole mess of a situation out there, guys. Make sure that you guys are taking cover. We're seeing a lot of activity across the area. That was a big clap of thunder. You guys probably heard that picking up on the microphone. Still getting large bangs out there as well. Looks like extremely large size hail, bigger than your hand. That is not good. It sounds like we're getting more of that large hand-sized hail. Best thing to do, looks like someone's sunroof was even completely shattered in from this. Yeah, that's going to happen with storms like this. Not going to be the best kind of situation here. You know what? I'm going to even see with this radar if I'm able to pick up a little bit of activity in regards to actual hail as well. Seeing if I can actually see a little bit of that. So give me just one moment. Looks like if I actually just turn off the radar itself, I'm going to go ahead and turn off those, turn off the warning fills. Yeah, that's where we're getting a lot of that hail. Worst of it looks to be right along 1788. How big is that color? How big is the orange? That hail, over 3 inches in diameter. Yeah, that's where we're seeing the majority of the hail right now. Beginning to fall. It's falling right on top of us and our station. We're going to be in between Business 20 and Interstate 20, not too far off the airport. So that's why we're continuing to keep an eye on the storm. Not going to be the most ideal type of situation when it comes to a lot of this activity. All right, let's go ahead and zoom back out. Still seeing and hearing just a lot of hail, a lot of people sending in messages. We're seeing a lot of activity across the area. All right. Heavy rain, of course. The actual hail itself, over 3 inches in diameter. Reports of up to 4 inches in diameter as well. Hey, we're going to stay with you guys on the air here at least for the next about 10 more minutes or so until this tornado warning goes away. It looks like it's beginning to kind of fall apart a bit on radar. Not seeing a very definitive hook across the area. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit on the northern side. Looks like Spraberry might be getting hit with more moderate rain than anything else right now. That's certainly good news. Stanton might start to see a little bit of activity as well. Maybe even moving out a little bit toward Greenwood. We got reports of about mothball-sized hail, at least reported in the grasslands, getting between baseball to softball-sized hail, continuing within the storm. We are talking about an extremely dangerous and extremely destructive storm as we continue into this afternoon and this evening. Let's go ahead and zoom in on Sanderson. You guys have been under this severe thunderstorm warning for quite a bit. While it might not be a very heavily populated region, we want to make sure everyone in our area is safe. We got that severe thunderstorm warning. That's in effect for them until about 6 o'clock. So again, another 10 more minutes or so. That severe thunderstorm, we're looking golf ball sized hail, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Not the best situation, but certainly not the worst either. Here's where we're seeing the majority of that activity. You know what? We're also going to track this just a little bit to see exactly where it's going to go. We should be good for just a little bit longer. I'm going to continue moving this. If this tornado continues, going to be heading toward Mid-Kiff right around 6:52 p.m. Maybe heading a little bit toward Stiles around 7:59. The best part is it's heading a little bit out more toward rural areas. Still keeping an eye on it as we continue into this evening. Let's actually take a look at where the storm itself is going to be going, because we're continuing to see it move, kind of just staying almost stationary as we head into this afternoon and evening. And that's certainly not good, especially when you have significant amounts of hail that we're getting right now. All right, so if this storm continues moving out, it's moving a little bit toward the southeast. That's gonna be the best way to talk about it. Heading a little bit towards St. Lawrence, around 6:58. That's where we're gonna see the majority of that activity. Still not seeing a lot right there, so that's certainly gonna be some good news. We are getting a couple people talking about saying a couple people sending in from the National Weather Service videos of the tornado hitting the National Weather Service office. If you guys commute on Business Loop 20, you will certainly see the National Weather Service business office just to the south of the airport. That is going to be significant, especially a lot of people commuting, a lot of people working out around these roads. You know what? National Weather Service has just went ahead and issued a flash flood warning for basically all of Midland County at this point. That's because we are getting so much extensive rainfall, heavy all at once on top of the hail. We are going to start to see, more than anything else, a lot of flooding. This is where we're going to say, turn around, don't drown. Because you're going to run into areas where we're seeing significant backed up water. And look, I'm a fan of big trucks and SUVs as much as you guys are, but you know what? Even a big truck and SUV, water can easily overpower that. Still got that tornado warning in effect for much of Midland County, now moving down a little bit farther south along 349. Looks to say mostly in rural areas. That's going to be the good part. I'm going to jump over to a velocity, see if we can see where that rotation of the storm is. Yeah, that's still going to be very well-defined rotation, right where that arrow is pointing. I was only able to pick up wind gusts within that storm to about 70 to maybe 90 miles an hour. Now, that's weak by tornado standards, but with just general winds, we typically travel between 70 and 90 miles an hour on the interstate. You get hail the size of softballs flying along with that. That's not going to be a very good kind of situation. So here is going to be the latest from the National Weather Service. We got that flash flood warning. I want to be able to see if we can actually see how much rainfall we've gotten. Nope, that's actually the wrong graphic. Still just seeing a lot of extremely heavy rainfall, more than anything else. All right, let's just go ahead and jump over to our regular radar, where we're starting to see a little bit more activity. Let's use the black screen for a second, get the computer to load up a bit. Still seeing very extremely strong winds moving through the area. Getting multiple reports right now. Got the flash flood warning. That flash flood warning, keep in mind, that's going to be in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. 9 o'clock. Yeah, that's the next 3 hours. So if this storm just stays over top of us, we're not going to catch a break. I always say we could use the rain, and you guys say it as well, and I completely agree with you. We could use the rain, just not all at once. You know, I like getting a little rain, maybe a little thunderstorm every once in a while, but when you get severe weather, something like this, destructive, softball-sized hail, grapefruit-sized hail, we're talking active, destructive tornadoes moving through the airport. This is not going to be the kind of situation that is most ideal for us. So, check in the latest from the National Weather Service, see what they're saying. We're getting multiple, looks like fair amount of standing water up in North Midland, up the curbs. Not covering the streets, though. I still don't recommend driving in any of this, especially with hail reports the size that we're getting. We're talking multiple broken windshields, broken sunroofs, very limited visibility. We're talking, you know, flash flooding, so the roads could all of a sudden just rush across with water, take you and your car with you. That's the last thing we want to see happen to you guys. Still watching a lot of activity across the region. Looks to be still that tornado warning continuing to stay in effect for us. We're staying with you until it goes away. All right, here's what we got. Latest update, still got that tornado warning. Still staying in effect until 6 o'clock tonight. That's not gonna be going away anytime soon. You know what, let's actually go ahead and jump onto the SPC risk for today because we're not done. This isn't gonna be finished even after this tornado warning goes away. Notice that, although Midland and Odessa and Andrews and Seminole are kind of on the edge of that level 3 enhanced risk, we're getting hit with the worst of it right now. So that's why it's always important to stay aware, no matter where you are in any kind of storm coverage, especially when we issue things like that big tornado watch covering the majority of the area. Yeah, anyone in that area can certainly be affected by these extremely strong storms. So let's go to a much more zoomed out look across the area. And you know what? We're seeing just how strong some of these storms are, especially with how quickly those clouds grow. I know that might sound a little bit weird. The bigger the cloud is, the stronger the storm is, and the more destructive it tends to be. So that's why we're seeing one of the biggest ones going to be right around the Midland-Odessa storm and the one over top of Sanderson. That's where we're seeing just a whole lot of activity, and it's just continuing to grow too. We're actually not seeing a whole lot of movement within this, and that's what makes the storm itself so dangerous, is that it's not moving. So any area that we're seeing is just going to stay extremely strong and not going to be getting any relief. That's why they just went ahead and issued that flash flood warning, because we're getting not just those strong winds, not just the tornadoes, not just the hail either. It has certainly been an extremely crazy day across the Permian Basin. That's why we're here to keep you safe, make sure everything is good in that sense. Looks like getting reports of internet outages and power outages across the region. That's not going away anytime soon. All right, latest update. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can see places like Greenwoods, Bradbury, and Midkiff as well. That's where we're gonna see. Give me just one moment, guys. All right, here's what we got. Latest from the tornado warning, still staying in effect until 6 o'clock. So we will see if the National Weather Service go ahead and expires it or lets it keep going. Given what I'm seeing, at least on radar, I don't think they're gonna let this expire. You still have a bit of that hook echo. You still have a lot of activity across the area. We still have that velocity beginning to pop up across the area. Still definitely rotation being spotted on radar. You can actually almost see that very dark area if you just look right over there where that arrow is pointing, kind of a mix of that purple, a mix of that dark red, that dark green. That's where we're seeing at least some rotation. Now, when it comes to tornado warnings, there are two ways of seeing it. You either get that tornado warning with it being spotted on radar, or it's just going to be, yep, they went ahead and reissued it. That's going to be in effect until 6:30 tonight. Newest on the tornado warning, now in effect until 6:30. It looks like they went ahead and let that severe thunderstorm warning expire. They might just end up reissuing it. Let's go ahead and see what they say about the tornado warning. Latest from that tornado warning: southwestern Midland County in western Texas and north central Upton County until 6:30. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located about 12 miles south of the Midland International Airport. and about 14 miles southeast of Odessa. It is moving southeast at about 15 miles an hour. Okay, that's pretty slow for a lot of these storms. So we're not seeing this thing moving very fast. Right now, it's no longer spotted on the ground, but it's still that radar indicated rotation. And yeah, that radar is certainly indicating that rotation with those very dark reds and the dark greens. It's close together because think of it this, use a visual representation. If something is moving towards you and then something else is moving away from you on radar in a 2D world, what does that mean? In a 3D world, yeah, it means rotation. And it's very interesting that we've been able to use this kind of technology within our radars for the last about 40 years or so, once it's become mainstream. Looks like the tornadic thunderstorm itself is going to remain over mostly rural areas of Midland and Upton counties. Yeah, they went ahead and issued another severe thunderstorm warning. Certainly doesn't surprise me. We are still seeing about 3-inch sized hail within this storm. Yeah, that's not going to be going away anytime soon, unfortunately. And I know you guys are probably, it's just a regular Thursday, you just want to get home. You're probably stuck at work because the storm just happened to hit. If I controlled the weather, I would not put a tornado over top of us. So I'm just here to report it. Still got the severe thunderstorm warning, destructive 3-inch hail. You guys are probably getting the EAS alerts right now. Tornadic thunderstorm still going to be mostly over rural areas. Torrential downfall, torrential rainfall is occurring within the storm. Leads to flash flooding. That's why you want to make sure that your vehicle, you're not driving out there either. It's not going to be the safest kind of scenario right now. Still watching 2 main storms across the area. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more. Actually, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Just with the radar by itself, in and of itself, we're going to be looking at a number of pop-up thunderstorms here. Here we go. We got Sanderson. You guys are still going to be under that severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45 is the latest from it, heading on 349 and Highway 90. Looks to be, again, mostly just rural areas, no significant roads or anything nearby. People of Sanderson, make sure you guys are taking cover. I know the storm might not be directly over top of you, but we're still getting about golf ball sized hail and about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well. The main one that we're continuing to watch is going to be the one over top of Midland and moving a little bit toward Midkiff, heading just south of Interstate 20 and right along Highway 349. Still that tornado warning stormed until about 2:30. You get about 3-inch in diameter hail. You got flash flood warning in effect. It is essentially the trifecta, worst case scenario here. We got all three. You got tornadoes, you got wind, you got the flooding, and this storm just isn't moving. That's the worst part of it all. So next storm I'm keeping my eye on, it's actually moving towards Seminole near Denver City. And we're going to also see a lot of heavy rainfall, a lot of very large-sized hail, and we're also going to see extremely strong winds. Let's also just take one last look. Make sure you guys are staying safe out there as well. So where should you go? If you are in any of these affected areas, you want to make sure you go into your safe place. You should already be there. This has been in effect for quite some time. If it's moving towards your area, here's where you want to go. Go to the center part of your house. You want to go away from windows. You want to make sure you cover your head with a helmet, blanket, or pillows. You want to make sure that you are staying on the safe side there. Here's what we got, especially throughout the rest of this evening. We still have a good chunk of the area under that risk. You got Odessa, you got Midland, Big Spring, Snyder, Andrews, and of course Seminole as well. That's going to be under that risk. And of course, got to know the difference between the watches and the warnings. Here's what I got for you. Watch means be aware and be prepared, because we can start to see a lot of activity. We had that tornado watch in effect for quite some time. That is going to stay in effect until about 11 o'clock tonight. We're also going to see that warning, that tornado warning is in effect until about 6:30. For 6:30 tonight. make sure you're staying in your safe space during that time. Let's talk about this hail that we're seeing. Extremely large size, very dangerous hail. We have gotten reports of up to between softball and even grapefruit size. That is exceptionally rare. That almost never happens, guys. That's how strong some of these storms are really being across the region. And now I'm going to toss it over to our Crystal Cruz. She has a look at some of these storm pictures as the storm has moved through one of the more densely populated regions of
All right, hello everyone. We have a look at some of the storm damage we saw from that tornado that came into Midland. Take a look at this right there. This is what appears to be a tornado on the ground at the Midland Airport on the tarmac. Victor and American Red Cross volunteers sent us this picture. That is just such a scary sight. Again, that is at the Midland Airport. The force of the winds, of course, was really frightening. Now let's take a look at the hail that came down. Look at that. This was coming down here at the TV station. We saw anything from dime-sized to ping-pong-sized hail. It's really bad out there right now. We also have a couple of pics from around Midland, if we can go to those. There we go. Look at that. Softball-sized hail. That's pretty incredible. Huge hail that you're seeing right there. Obviously, we're going to be seeing a lot of damage, broken windows right there, things not looking so great. Now, just outside of our station, we're actually broadcasting to you on a generator because take a look at that. This is a live video outside of our TV station. We're between Midland and Odessa, pretty near the airport. See that right there? That is a downed power line that snapped right in our backyard. So again, there may be some electricity issues around town. We're going to check in with Encore and see what we're looking at right now. But again, that's a huge down power line just outside the News West 9 studios out there. Of course, News West 9 is continuing to track these severe storms as they move south. Let's go ahead, Jordan, we're going to check back in with you to see what we're looking at right now. We still have that warning up.
Yeah, that warning is still noticeable, especially as it's moving toward Upton County. It's going to be right now on top of southern Midland County. You can really see that noticeable kind of S shape or hook echo, as we call it, on the radar. That is going to be definitive of a tornado. You can also see it with the rotation as well. That's going to be where a lot of those greens and reds kind of mix, almost right where that arrow is kind of pointing, just a little bit closer toward the green and red. That's where we're seeing a lot of rotation. And I've also gotten a number of messages from both viewers and the National Weather Service. I've been checking them occasionally. You guys are saying we're getting multiple internet outages. We're getting multiple power outages. Hard to believe that even the studio lost power. That is a very solid generator too, because I never even saw a hiccup in terms of lights or anything right now. Of course, certainly doesn't surprise me considering we're talking about extremely destructive hail as we go across the majority of this region. So still seeing strong winds, still seeing, hearing lots of thunder, still hearing a little bit of banging on the roof every once in a while because of how strong a lot of these storms are. If you're in North Midland or even the northern part of Odessa, you guys look to be relatively in the clear. Majority of this activity is actually continuing to move farther and farther south, a little bit closer toward Midkiff, although it looks like now that the storm tends to be tracking almost along Highway 349, and especially if you're heading south, we tend to take that road a good bit. Let's go ahead and put a tracker on this. See if this tornado continues. It's going to be kind of moving along this path, not actually moving toward any major city. So that is certainly going to be some good news, especially as the situation continues to develop. And it looks like the main storms we're keeping our eyes on are going to be this one, going to be actually now, oh boy. Yep. We got another tornado. Sanderson, you guys in Sanderson, we got another tornado warning now. I'm not actually able to pick up a whole lot on radar here, which is going to be surprising. So if you guys are joining us, we now have 2 tornado warnings. One going to be for southern Midland County. We also have another one now for Sanderson. Still not actually being able to pick it up on radar, but here's the thing. With the radar itself, we're unable to see very far south. The radar itself is based just south of the Midland Airport. So unfortunately, we're not able to get any other radar closer, because at that point you start to get into the territory of Mexico. So unfortunately, we're not going to be getting the best type of radar image from that storm itself. So zooming in back to Midland County, still got that tornado warning in effect until 6:30 tonight. And now we have a new tornado warning in effect for Sanderson. Make sure you guys are getting to your safe place. I'm going to go ahead, once I zoom back in on it, I'm going to get a more definitive answer of exactly what we're expecting and what we're seeing within this storm itself. All right, here's what I'm getting from the National Weather Service. Still the same National Weather Service office. The guys in Midland today are going to be quite busy, that's for sure. Yeah, that tornado warning looks like a confirmed tornado on the ground. That's why the radar wasn't able to pick it up. Confirmed on the ground near Sanderson. It's moving south, but it's moving south very slowly, only 10 miles an hour. Damaging tornado and about 2-inch diameter sized hail. Weather spotters have confirmed the tornado. Biggest impact around that area is going to be flying debris that's going to be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is also going to be likely. The tornadic thunderstorm will remain mostly over rural areas of southwestern Terrell County. To repeat, tornado is on the ground. Take cover now. Move to a basement. Move to an interior room of the lowest floor. Avoid those windows, because we're also seeing just a whole lot of activity, especially as we push our way into late this evening. We are going to also see a little bit more activity moving farther and farther south. And it also looks like, certainly doesn't seem like a good kind of situation. Looks like potentially the storm near Denver City might actually also be another tornado producing storm. These storms are having that almost definitive hook echo that we see in these kind of situations, where we're getting more than one type of rotation kind of taking place. So it is certainly a busy day in the Permian Basin, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I got focus here on all of the different storms we have moving across the area, because you know what? Today is certainly not taking a break. All right, here's what we got. If you guys are just joining us, we got 3 main areas of interest now. We have the one actually heading toward Seminole a little bit. That's going to be the one up near Hobbs and Seminole near Denver City. This one looks to be potentially another tornado producer storm. We have the other one in Midland County right now that is also confirmed on the ground tornado. And then we have the other storm near Sanderson that is also another confirmed on the ground tornado. We're continuing to keep our eye on a lot of the activity, because we have now 2 confirmed tornadoes on the ground across the area. All right, tornado warning. Actually moving its way farther south of Midland County, and looks to be heading a little bit farther toward Upton County. Looks to be avoiding Midkiff for now, at least based on the current kind of velocity readings, at least based on the direction. The severe thunderstorm itself kind of looks to be almost kind of getting just a lot of that hail heading toward Midkiff more than anywhere else. We're also seeing this one storm near Sanderson. That's going to be the one that we're seeing. Don't actually see a noticeable hook echo on the radar, but that's because the radar doesn't really reach that far south. That's where we start to see the curvature of the earth get in the way, and we're only just covering the cloud tops at that point, because the radar itself, you can keep going in a straight line, but eventually the earth is going to curve down and you get out of the way. So we got another storm chasers confirming that that one is, of course, on the ground. Tornado warning and about 2-inch sized hail. And of course, we're seeing just a whole lot of that hail as we continue into this afternoon and evening. And that's where Crystal Cruz is going to tell us what we should do in case of large size hail like we're seeing right now. Crystal?
Well, Jordan, you know, earlier we thought that hail was actually moving across I-20. It appeared the tornado was headed that way. So what do you do when you're in the middle of a hailstorm? Well, first of all, you need to stay inside of your car if you're driving. Be sure that you pull over to a safe place and do not stop in the middle of the road, because that could happen and cause a wreck. Now, if you have to, angle your car so the hail hits your windshield. By the way, you probably don't know this, but windshields are reinforced to withstand pelting objects. So even if it gets pretty big, it might bust your window. Hopefully it won't come through, but you still need to protect yourself while you're in your car. You need to lie down, cover yourself with a coat or whatever you can. And as you try to find somewhere to pull over, keep several car lengths between you and the car in front of you. The best places to seek shelter are, of course, parking garages or under cover somewhere like at a gas station. So News West 9, we're continuing to track this storm. Again, we saw everything from softball size hail in Midland today. I don't know if we can pull up those pictures just to show you how bad they were, but softball size hail, bigger than a woman's hand. If we can get those pictures up. All right, we'll try to get those pictures back up for you here in just a moment. But again, if you have to drive through, pull over, cover yourself, or of course, try to find some shelter. Jordan.
Yeah, that's right, Crystal. We're continuing to monitor the situation. It looks to begin clearing up a little bit along Interstate 20 and Business 20. Maybe even the northern parts of Midland look to be clearing up just a little bit. Still going to be under that severe thunderstorm warning and still going to be under that flash flood warning. We're continuing to watch the situation just because even once we start to see these storms beginning to die down, you still have a lot of that flooding across the area. You still have a lot of standing water, maybe even moving and rushing water too, because a lot of this water is going to try to drain, but this is just going to be way too much to actually drain. All right, and we're still seeing very strong winds. We're still seeing just a lot of activity, excuse me, in general. It's a little bit hard when you've been talking for about almost 2 hours straight. All right, a little bit of activity near Lenore on 137, just a little bit of rain more than anything else. I'm also tracking this one storm just to the north of Seminole. It looks like the latest data has come in. We're not seeing as much rotation, so likely tornado warning is not going to pop into that, so that's certainly good. I think 2 tornadoes is plenty. No tornadoes is actually going to be plenty as well. That's going to be the most ideal situation where we don't have to deal with tornadoes. Still going to see this tornado warning kind of moving a little bit closer toward 349. It looks to be avoiding mid-Kif, but still just going to be almost that perfect hook echo that you're seeing right there, kind of just hooking around. That's where you see a lot of that very strong rotation within the storm itself. We're also going to really see a little bit more activity across the northern part of that storm, where you're seeing a lot of the very dark red and maybe even just like little blotches of purple. That's where we're seeing the strongest and largest amount of hail as well. All right, let's go ahead and check in from the latest data from them. Still going to get about Midland County, Upton County. Latest data still about hail to about 3 inches in diameter. That's not going away. Unfortunately, I wish I could say it's going away. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. Still getting about 3-inch hail. Still moving south right now. This is the latest update as of 6:19. So I'm going to look down and read this real quick. Tornado warning still remains in effect from till about 6:30 for south central Midland County and north central Upton County. About 6:19, we got severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located about 17 miles south of Midland International Air and Spaceport, about 19 miles southeast of Odessa, and it's moving almost directly southeast at about 15 miles an hour. So it's still a very slow moving storm. Now, here's a lot of big misconceptions might be. People think, oh, 15 miles an hour, I could probably outrun that storm, especially if I got a car. And you know what? You probably could. But here's the thing. The reason a lot of these tornadoes form is because you have a lot of very strong winds going directly up and into the storm itself. So even if there's a tornado behind you, where is that wind that's fueling the tornado? Right in front of you, pushing you toward that tornado. Do not try to outrun it. That's something that Hollywood does, not something you want to recreate in real life. You want to make sure you are taking cover in substantial shelter, going in the center part of a building. You want to make sure even you covering your head with some of the large-sized hail we're getting reports of course, the potential flooding as well. Whew. We're getting just a whole mess going on right now in Midland County. It's still going to be just radar indicated rotation, meaning that the storm spotters are no longer seeing that tornado on the ground. That is certainly good. We're also going to see flying debris being very dangerous, especially when you have wind gusts picking up to 70 miles an hour within the tornado itself. I was getting velocity ratings up to about even 90 miles an hour. Ugh, yikes. Mobile homes are likely going to be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, vehicles. Yeah, we saw that from a number of those hail pictures, so we're continuing to keep an eye on that. Tornadic thunderstorm is going to remain mostly over the rural areas of Midland and Upton counties, but you still want to make sure that you are taking cover. You are going to a basement, although we don't really have basements out here, do we? I wish we did, but that's just kind of the thing. We drill for oil here. Not going to be the best place to build a basement. I get that. Most of Texas is like that too, and that's completely fine. But if you don't have a basement or you don't, go to the lowest level. You want to make sure you're not near the top of larger buildings, especially even in downtown. I want to see if we're able to get our sky cameras back and kind of working again. Oh, perfect. It looks like we're starting to see a little bit more of our sky cam, so I can actually show you guys a little bit more of what we're seeing here. Here we go. Actually, Midland now from the Bank of America Tower overlooking Business 20. Starting to clear up a little bit. Still a lot of people driving on the roads. I wouldn't recommend doing that for at least an extended period of time. From our actual news station itself, well, good news is the camera hasn't fallen off, and it was about to as that tornado was passing close by. Looking out toward Midland-Odessa, that's where they got the worst of it. Wow. You're already seeing clear skies. Starting to get a nice, beautiful looking sunset once you get past a lot of that activity. Let's go ahead and look over at Big Spring. You can actually see some of those storms themselves in the distance with a bit of that cloud cover, with a bit of that sun reflecting off of it. Honestly, just kind of beautiful looking. As destructive as nature can be, it can also be very beautiful. And one of our newer sky cameras, this is actually going to be looking over downtown Odessa. Eerily calm right now, especially considering just what a lot of us went through. Odessa itself really didn't get hit with much of anything, so we're continuing to kind of watch the situation, monitor what some of these cameras are seeing, because you look one direction, you see a beautiful sunset, you look another direction, and you see just extremely dark, strong clouds, especially as we continue to move across this afternoon and evening. Let's take one quick look at all of the watches and warnings and everything in between that we're seeing right now. Got that tornado watch in effect until about 11 o'clock tonight. You got multiple tornado warnings still in effect until about 6:30. And of course, we're continuing to watch large-sized hail moving across the area within some of these severe storms. So let's go ahead and toss it over to Crystal Cruz. You got some of the hail damage videos and pictures people are sending in. Is that right?
Yeah, Jordan, it is absolutely awful. You are looking at softball size hail. Look how big that is that pounded Midland. A lot of you, of course, will be spending the next few days dealing from hail and damage like this, broken windows. Now, even after the storm has passed, obviously you're talking with your insurance company, so we wanted to get a bit of advice from one State Farm agent.
If you have repairable damage, make those reasonable temporary repairs to keep further damage from happening. Sometimes you hear that there's been a tornadic event and there's roof damage, and then another storm comes and it creates more water damage. So get those tarps up if it's safe to do so. And again, depending on your coverage, some of those repairs may be reimbursed, and save those receipts.
All right, so you heard that advice. Down trees, you name it. Be sure to take pictures of all the damage at your home. Log it, of course. You want to make sure you have video, pictures, whatever, and then be sure to contact your insurance agent so they can come out and take a look. Jordan, are we expecting to see more hail like this, I hope, tonight?
I sure hope we don't have to see something like that, but of course anything is going to be possible. So biggest threat, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our forecast that I have kind of set up for the next couple of days, just to show you what I've been looking at. So lately we've been talking about all these big storms kind of hanging out over our area. And of course, even as we head into this evening, certainly possible, we could see some of this move a little bit farther and farther east, although majority of it kind of looks to be kind of standing still and running out over the next couple of hours or so. So that's certainly going to be on the good side. As we head into tomorrow, maybe a quick little thunderstorm is going to be possible, especially up toward Big Spring, maybe even Snyder, right around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So early morning commute, make sure you're giving yourself a little bit of extra time, even heading into about 11 a.m. We're still keeping an eye on that. That's going to be from the HRRR model. Of course, with the IBM model, it's going to show something just a little bit on the different side. So this is obviously for the rest of this evening. Although, again, the models, once the system has already gone through, might not be the most accurate. But here we go, going into Friday. Friday morning, they actually don't have anything hitting Big Spring or Snyder. As a matter of fact, they have it kind of hitting more so around 11 o'clock at night. And even then, I'm not looking at anything super crazy, which is going to be kind of the best case scenario. Heading into Saturday, we're going to expect another storm outbreak. Severe or not, that's yet to be seen right now. But here's what I got. Pecos, right around 3 o'clock, maybe even Fort Stockton. It looks like some decent-sized cells. Even that big one itself moving down towards Sanderson and Terrell County right around 6 o'clock, moving out a little bit south of Ozona and Crockett County. We're going to continue to actually monitor that, especially as we head into this weekend. And even going into Saturday late evening, not too terribly bad. But here's what I can expect in terms of severe storm outlook for your Friday. Biggest severe risk is just going to be out toward Big Lake, Ozona, and extending out towards San Angelo, Abilene, and Brady. That's going to be that level 2 slight risk. And even if we head into our day 3 outlook, I'm not really seeing anything too out of the ordinary, let's say, for now. But of course, even yesterday, I only had us under that level 2 risk. They updated the latest this morning and put us under the level 3. That's why we're seeing the multiple tornadoes that we are now. So really, here's what I got for you for your next 9 days real quick. Still, slight chance of those showers. Highest chance for storms is going to be on Saturday, and then that triple-digit heat makes a comeback. So even after today, we are not going to be done with it right away, which is, I know, maybe not the best kind of situation, but we're continuing to watch it. Here's what I got from the latest on these tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. All right, let's move into the one on Midland. Still got that tornado warning in effect until about 6:30. That's going to stay in effect for about another minute unless they go ahead and allow that to not renew. I'm going to go ahead and check in from the National Weather Service, see if they're saying anything on terms of what the storm spotters are out here doing. It looks like we are going to see just a little bit of rotation right now, more so up near Gaines County, and that's going to actually be that one up towards Seminole. It looks like we're not really seeing a ton of activity right now, so that's certainly good, but they still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6:45. The reason for that, they are still looking at about a 3-inch sized hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Wow, the hail is not letting up today at all, and that is certainly not going to be the best kind of situation. It looks like Emergency management from the city of Seagraves looks like they're projecting potentially about 2 inches in terms of hail size right now. So, yikes, we're still looking at just very destructive storms moving its way across the Permian Basin. Moving farther and farther south now, out towards Sanderson, looks like that tornado warning has been set to expire, so that is certainly some good news. Still talking about that severe thunderstorm warning in effect as well. We're talking baseball-sized hail, so about 2.5 inches in diameter, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's all going to be radar indicated. We did have some storm spotters down there actually seeing a little bit of activity. So if you guys want to get an idea of where all this stuff has been, zooming out real quick, I'm going to zoom back in toward Midland, seeing if they're going to renew that tornado warning or not. I'm not getting anything, at least from the National Weather Service, so that's certainly some good news. But what's the best way to check for a tornado? See if there's any rotation. All right, here's what I got. Rotation values still look to be at least some type of circular rotation, but I'm not seeing anything being renewed right now. So that is, again, going to be best kind of situation. We saw those storm spotters see that tornado out in the Midland International Airport. It has since moved its way farther and farther south. It looks to be right now, if they do reissue anything, at the border of Midland and Upton County. But right now, not hearing anything, not seeing any new updates. Let's actually just get one quick look at why they still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. I believe it's for the exact same reason, about 3-inch hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It might be safe to start going outside and checking a little bit of your property, see the potential damage, as long as you guys are outside of the warning box or are not seeing anything from the radar. That is going to be kind of the best case scenario. So if you are going to be right around, looks like the northern parts of Midland, maybe even northern parts of Greenwood, even Stanton, just seeing a little bit of rain more than anything else right now. Looks to be on the safe side. Odessa, southern Odessa, starting to see just a little bit of activity, as well as some heavy rain, maybe even some of that small-sized hail. Still just a very active day in general. Not seeing anything crazy, at least in Sanderson. All those tornado warnings have since expired. So we're also going to now toss it over to Crystal with the rest of everything going on. It's been crazy, Crystal, that's certainly.
Yeah, it has been. We have some new pictures in just now. I want to show you this. Midland and Andrews Highway. This is from Natalie. She sent this in to us. If you're going around town, you need to be careful because a lot of things are falling over and on the streets, not to mention there was some flooding. But look at that gas station. The whole carport above has just come down where the gas pumps are. So thanks, Natalie, for sending that in. We got some video here from our TV station. This is the hail coming down earlier. If you take a look, that is zoomed in there, that is a power pole. We're getting reports of those across town. Right now, we're running on a generator, so we'll check in and see how many homes have been affected electricity-wise on Encore. Anyways, tornado warning's over. Things are slowing down, so we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.